That was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be
forward.
like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap, but it's nice.
Hi, my name is Avuzoka Khesongubo. I am from Pretoria originally, and I am affiliated with Africa Unite.
My name is Wanga. I'm from Durban originally, and I work for Africa Unite as a peer educator.
My name is Lau Bruda. I'm from Mitchell's Plain. I help out at Africa Unite, and I'm also a student and a traveler.
My name is Akhona. Surname is Madikane. I live in Delft, and I'm one of the Africa Unite peer educators.
My name is Vusa Nganywa, and I'm from Kukuletu, and I work for the Africa Unite.
In my understanding, mob justice is a group of individuals, or I should say, an organized group of people within a certain community who oversee all individuals who do wrong things within society or within local communities. In other words, who violate other people, whether by stealing, robbing, or looting, and also murdering of people.
I think mob justice, how it actually initiated, it was when we look at apartheid, the way our people were beaten up. So they are very angry, they're very violent, and they believe that violence solves everything. So the whole idea of mob justice is to beat up people and correct them in a sense. So they believe that that will work. So because of the anger and the violence that we have inside us, it allows us to do that. But if we would come up with solutions, because for instance, someone does not do something without any reasons behind. But if we would start speaking to psychological issues that people are facing, why is that person doing that? Because beating them up doesn't really bring up the solution. It will just be something that you do right now, and then that person will come back again and do it again because it's normal to them. Because there's something psychologically that is driving him to do what he's doing.
I think mob justice comes as a result of a failure from the state to protect the people, failure from the system set in place to actually carry out the law, so people end up taking the law into their own hands. And this is not something unique to South Africa. This is something that happens in a lot of countries around the world. But it's just we've been seeing a lot more of it on the media because of a lack of policing in certain areas. I think we've all seen images of people being necklaced or people being beaten because they stole something or they broke into someone's house, etc. So I think it comes as a failure from the system to protect us, and people now want to take this into their own hands and feel that it's up to them to protect ourselves.
I also think it's a failure from the justice system because people end up taking the law into their own hands, and in some instances people do actually get arrested for taking the law into their own hands. So it goes a long way, and it's just a result of failure from the police system here in South Africa. And I highly think something should be done about it, because victims of mob justice either get fatally injured, whether they permanently in a wheelchair or no hands if you steal, or in some instances they get burnt alive. So that is something that, like, having young children growing within communities and them having to witness such a thing, it is traumatizing even to an adult. So it's not something that is actually positive for the growth of any community.
But how do we restore that to the community? How do we restore that kind of faith into the system? Because it's gonna take a lot to have people not do that, because people are kind of set in their ways. And
I think also the flaw becomes that, like, mob justice allows us to see how the system can pick and choose when they want to intervene. Because in the beginning, like, the eruption of mob justice, they're not in the scene. But when something happens, like someone gets their arm cut or whatever, they're so quick to arrest the person who did that, but are not around during that time when they needed to actually act. So it's just like you can just see how the system just teeter-totters on whether they want to act now or act later on.
It started off as a racial thing, and starting in the townships or in the ghettos, in the flats or whatever, and then it broke down into a class struggle. It became, it's the poorest of the poor. Police are not policing these areas. You don't have police going around as much in Newcastle as they would in Margate. It's that kind of thing. You have visible policing where they want to be. So now people are like, okay, let me then take this into my own hands. And like Bongeka said, the police now then decides who they want to arrest. They will arrest the person that took the law into their own hands and tell them, were you? It's like the classic case of somebody's house gets broken into, they shoot the perpetrator, that person then gets arrested as a result, and the perpetrator can sue them. So now in the poorer areas, which is why I said it's a class thing, in the poor areas people will just like, okay, here's this lack of policing, here's this lack of resources and of recreational facilities, whatever. People resort to crime or whatever the case might be, and now they take the law into their own hands because the plight is not being heard, people are not being supported, and that's the reality of it.
And it's a sad thing that some innocent people get killed for nothing or assaulted for nothing. So what do we do then for people that support mob justice? What is the solution for? Like we had a discussion earlier on, and I asked, what if the person is innocent and the person is dead already? What do we do as a community? And we found the real perpetrator. What are you going to do then?
Like in most communities, like if a really someone that is respected in the area says, listen, this person committed rape, everybody in the community is going to believe it, whether or not there's been investigation, or anything of the sort. So it's just, I don't know, like as much as the system has failed most of our people and then they resort to mob justice, people's innocent lives can get lost in the process, and there's no real like investigation that goes through throughout that process, and things like that.
Look at the system and the things that were placed like centuries, like it. I think if you look at this mob justice, it's mostly black people that suffer from it. I think what we were told to do during the apartheid, as you said, is still having effects on us.
But I think mob justice actually goes beyond even crime. It sometimes ends up with the murdering or beating up of innocents who don't share certain beliefs. It can end up in xenophobic attacks. Because this is how far it's gone now, because like Kagiso and Bongeka said, this has become something that we're so used to. We saw results out of being violent. Now we're going to do this for all our problems. We are going to attack foreign nationals because we believe they're stealing our jobs. We are going to attack homosexuals in our communities because they don't share the same ideals as us. This is now become our go-to. Every time something goes wrong, we're like, okay, if nobody's listening to me, I'm just going to become violent. Then you have to listen to me. So that's just, it's a much broader context than actually just justice in the community, like catching a perpetrator. It can be utilized as a weapon actually to oppress certain peoples.
Like for example, in service delivery, if you do a protest like just do nothing, no one's going to listen to you. No one's going to listen to you, but you have to bend tires and then they're going to listen to you. Break things, they listen to you. So what do we do then? So it goes back to the system and all the governing thing. They should listen.
But you're breaking those things. What justice is that bringing? Because you're destroying something and that thing needs to be fixed at the end of the day.
I'm not saying it's right, but it's the way the government listens to people.
Yeah.
From my side, I would say, speaking from protests that happened, I think it was last year, 2 years back, I know there were quite a lot of foreign nationals who got injured in the process. It was just an innocent housing protest in one of the local communities. And along the way, there were people, what do you call them, opportunists, who took that opportunity to do whatever they wanted to do to foreign nationals, like looting of the shops, and robbing them, and some of them getting stabbed and so forth. But those were just certain individuals who took advantage of what was going on at that particular time. So in some instances, that does happen. And unfortunately, there's never a good result when something like that happens.
My issue is like how we've come to normalize mob justice so much, especially in respect to the idea of like xenophobic attacks. If you look at what just happened in Durban right now, that was mob justice to some people. They might identify to it as mob justice, although it was just straight out xenophobic attacks. But because so many people had rallied and supported this idea that we need to get rid of foreign nationals, and like people were butchered throughout that process, but nothing was really done by it because it's become so normalized. Like I feel like every 2 years we have xenophobic attacks that just get more and more extreme, and it's like a form of mob justice that everybody's romanticizing so much and forgetting that actually like people are dying out of nothing, you know?
I think the justice system also needs to do something, or wake up, or stop this corruption, because I know of many cases where you would find that whether it's gangsters or whatever the case might be, they're working in hand with policemen. So now people in such communities become vulnerable, because they are vulnerable to the gangsters and to the police, because the police are working with the gangsters. So now they are not able to do anything or form any form of mob justice.
There's a police ombudsman where you can actually, if the policeman is not doing any justice and you see them doing something wrong, you just send them a text, an email, random email, and tell them this certain policeman from this certain station is doing this and this and this and this in your area. They will investigate without you being present or without your name being mentioned. That's the things we don't know as a community. Those things are very covered so that we don't know about them, so that even when police tell you, I am the police and I'm the head of the police station, I'm going to tell you what to do. But if you were to go to the ombudsman and then tell them what happened, then they will fear. Because policemen, even with the clinics, once you tell them, I know my rights, in section what, it said, they fear so much that they start doing their job.
Exactly.
The moment they know that you know something, then that's when they start doing their job. But when you feel like, I don't know nothing, and you also say, okay, no, I think you are right, then they will continue what's just feeling like a boss and make you feel as just inferior.
And you do find some instances where there's a person who's about to be attacked by mob justice, and a police van comes, but then mob justice threatens the police that if you take this individual, we are going to hurt you. And then you'd find that police would just go for around about 20 minutes and then return again with a siren, making a noise, making as if they came to stop, but they were previously made aware that such an incident is going to take place.
But then, but now the issue is like, how do we really get an end to this? Is there a solution to all of this? Do we try and re-educate the people? Because this is essentially what I believe should be happening, a re-education. But now it becomes kind of futile trying to teach a child that you shouldn't be doing this. There's actually different ways to deal with your problems. And he goes home, and then the parents are like, no, actually, if you can't get your way, I think we should just rally all your friends and then we can go beat him up. Yeah. Or, you know, that's also because, like Vusa says, that it's not really, he says it's become predominantly a black issue, but if you really look in other underprivileged communities, like in the colored community and stuff, that's what happens. If you're unhappy with someone at school, you gather all your friends. That's also a form of mob justice. You gather all your friends, you go beat him up after school. Or sometimes in the cases, people get stabbed or shot. And this is what happens. This is the mentalities people have. So it's like, do we educate the kids? Do you target them, or are we going to target the adults, or are we going to target everyone? Because this is not just like a local scale thing. This is like a full scale national issue that needs to take precedence, because it's violation of people's human rights.
My dream is to have equality and freedom and peace and love in South Africa.
My dream is to one day see South Africa in a better position where it is, where everyone is equal to everyone with equal opportunities.
My dream is to see Africa take its rightful place on the world stage.
My dream is to have a South Africa that has empowered young people who are educated about their human rights, so that they don't have to face the same struggles that we are currently dealing with today.
My dream is for Africa to be one, where we are united of our diversity, where we are one, and where we are not these violent hooligans that the US depicts on TV, where we are this country that is not violent, that is about peace.
Yazi, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.